right. Next video we have mom of 7 kids. A mom of 7 kids let me try that again. Mom of 7 kids, his dating standards were unreasonable. Now, this is a picture of the Octo Mom. It's the only photo I could find with a woman with 7 kids. 8 kids. She has 8, but I just cropped one out because I'm like that for my thumbnail. But here's the thing. If somebody puts out a dating profile out there and doesn't say, I've got 7 kids, and they want to tell you when you're texting or when you're on the date, it's too late. Like, that's kind of a big one. But at what age does that matter? A 28-year-old with 7 kids, that matters. Does it matter if she's 50 and the kids are all grown up and out of the house and she's single again? Does that matter? I mean, technically she's a mom at that point, but she's not with the kids anymore. I mean, of course, I leave that up to you to decide, but it says, and again, once again, the guy is the bad guy here because apparently he freaked out. Heaven forbid. I've seen women freak out when they meet a guy that's 5'10" who said he was 6 foot tall. They freak out over that. I think it's a bigger deal to not tell a guy you've got 7 kids. It says, no kidding. I told Tinder date I had 7 kids and was speechless at his response. I've officially given up on men. Well, after 7 kids, maybe that's a little bit late. But listen to the language. Listen to the shaming words that they use. A mom was left horrified by her Tinder date's response after she told him that she had 7 kids. She was horrified, guys. TikTok user Katie revealed that she'd been trying out the dating app for the first time, sharing her conversation with one man in particular. And he's explaining here, he's like, she says, I'm also a nan to 1, 5 kids. Well, 5 kids still at home, she says. I've got my own house and car. I've been single just over 2 years now. Just came on the site to see what really happens. XX, which is kisses, right? 5 kids still living at home. And his response was, what? 7 effing kids? Are you joking? No wonder you didn't mention that in your bio. No one would message you. And then I think he said, like, for F's sake or something. It's women like you who give others a bad name. And she says, wow, why the hate? I do expect people won't accept it, but no need to be mean and talk down to me like that. Also, I don't expect anyone to take my kids on, as they have their dads and don't need anyone in their lives. But you need to learn how to respect others. Now, you could say, yeah, he was rude, but look, I got to tell you something. If you're putting your bio out there, and they don't scroll back to say how long they'd been talking. But if you've been talking with somebody for a couple of days and getting to know them and maybe start finding them interesting, and then all of a sudden you get the nuclear explosion of, oh, by the way, I have 7 kids, 5 of which still live at home. I think that's something you should put out there pretty quickly. And the reverse argument with that would be if a woman's talking to a guy and then she starts to like him a little bit, and after 2 weeks she finds out that he's 54 and still lives at his parents' house and is unemployed collecting, I don't know, something from the government. Do you think she'd want to know that ahead of time? I think so. But again, the key word, horrified, because he was a little insulting to me. Again, see, and what happens is this is happening in movies, in commercials, in these stories like this. It's less about this particular story. It's more about the shaming language that is getting used in everything. I was horrified when she received these brutal messages. And here's a news story about it. This isn't a news story, but it is. And why is it a news story? Because they want to make sure, ladies, that you do not accept this kind of response from men. And if they respond this way, it's the men's fault. It's not you for hiding anything. It's not you for lying. It's not you for cheating. It's not you for divorcing the man because he worked too much to make too much money to try to support you, but he was not there emotionally for you. It's always the man's fault. And that is the permeation that's going through society right now. And I want you guys to see that. So when you see these stories, you start picking out the shaming language they use, the way that they're trying to manipulate, because women will read this, people will read this, And over the years and maybe over the decades, story after story after story like this proliferates, and before you know it, men are the bad of all society. It's always men's faults. Things started off well when the bloke began complimenting her stunning eyes and ensued with the usual chit-chat, telling her where he worked and the fact that he had one son from a previous relationship. He then went on to ask Katie about herself, and she revealed she worked as a waitress in Newcastle as it fits around her children. She then wrote, I'm a mom to 7 children and also a nan to 1, 5 kids still at home. I got my own house, my own car, probably from an ex. I've been single just over 2 years now, and that's at the point where he responded like he did. And here's the other thing that women need to understand is that if he's looking for a long-term relationship, if he's looking to date, maybe find the right person, you have to understand that what men hear when it's, I have 7 kids, 5 of which still at home. This is what they start hearing. That casino cash register in the background, it just starts rolling. And this is, the longer he talks to her and the longer he gets to, that's what he's hearing. And if he started to like her, like what you're doing really at that point in time is you're telling a guy with 5 kids at home still, 7 in total, and 1 grandkid, what you're telling that guy, and she's a waitress, remember this, what you're telling that guy is, if we get serious, by the way, I've got all these kids. If we get married or we end up moving in together, I've got these kids. It changes the dynamics of a relationship massively, especially since those kids are still home. But because he got angry with her, because she didn't put it on her profile, and he decides to kind of get snappy at her, he's the most evil man ever. Unsurprisingly, the experience had left Katie feeling rather despairing, admitted she'd given up on the app. The video's since gone viral, receiving over 100,000 views. And get ready, because all the women are going to support her and tell her she did nothing wrong by not sharing that and that the guy's evil. We know. I haven't even read the full article. This is what's coming. One wrote, if that's how he treats a stranger, I dread to think how he would treat his exes. Agreeing, another added, it takes one hell of a real woman to have 7 kids. You're truly amazing and strong, stunning and brave. Have 7 kids. Make sure you're single now and the guy's not around. Stunning and brave, everyone. No one deserves to be spoken to like that. Ignore the little boy, a third wrote. Of course she did. Because any man that, and if you watch or listen to the previous video I just did, any man that does not take care of another man's kids and won't step up to be the father, stunning and brave. And these are the, and this is why I say don't use the dating apps. This is literally from yesterday, from February 12th, 2 days before Valentine's Day. A guy matches with this girl on Tinder, Alyssa. He says, both dogs in the picture are absolutely adorable. She just says, you're ugly. And he's like, oh, thanks. Where's the story about that? Man meets on a dating app, compliments a woman about her looks, and she just says, you're ugly. Why did you match with him? He literally just complimented her dogs, and her response was, you're ugly. Why did she match with him? To insult him. Where's the stories about that? Where's the stories about the women with the unreasonable standards? Where's the story about the women that do this to guys? Well, they're not newsworthy because they don't help paint the narrative that men are the bad in society. This is a campaign. I want you to be sure of that, to understand that. That's why if you go to the Daily Mail or some of these other channels, they literally have a section called female, F-E-M-A-I-L. No male, just female. And they're all stories about stuff like this. And so women when they go to read this stuff, all it is women, you can do no wrong. You're strong and empowered. Men are the drag on society. And if something bad happens, it's never your fault, ladies. It's never your fault. This is on purpose. This is on purpose. Trust me on that. And all you have to look is the number of young men that don't ask women out anymore, that don't date anymore, that maybe have, as they call it, Peter Pan syndrome, where they don't move out of the house. They don't go get driver's licenses. They just kind of sit around in mom's basement and play video games. What's the point? What's the point of getting out in the real world and bettering yourself when this is the way you're going to be treated, and you're being told that all men are the root of all causes of evil throughout the world? Why would any guy want to go out? And it's done on purpose, I guarantee you, because they know strong men, good times. They want a society of weak, malleable, effeminate men that won't stand up for themselves, so governments, so the well-to-do, the people with the money can more easily control people. They want us stupid and fighting, because the longer we're fighting at each other, instead of looking up at everybody that's giving us the real problems, the easier we are to mold. All right, for those of you on YouTube, you're going to have to go over to Rumble or betterbachelor.locals.com to see the dating profile of the day, because Big Mama YouTube hates me, and YouTube can screw off.